Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to check out the brand new Vivo V70. Now, this is a successor to the V60 that came out in late 2025, but what I would probably say is some of the things in this device make it a very unique V70. We have Zeiss tuning that is something typically we only have available on the flagship side of the house as far as the X series. And of course, we also have some updates in here as far as the camera stack in the back to give us a little bit better experience, specifically on the telephoto lens, which I've been enjoying quite a bit. This is TK and this is the Vivo V70. Let's check it out and see what makes it so special. Like and subscribe and make sure you hit that bell icon so that you're always notified to whenever we have new videos for you on the channel. So what I have in front of us is the Vivo V70. This is the really nice special color that they sent me, powered by Origin OS here, Android 16 out of the box. Obviously it comes with AI, the Vivo AI functionalities, co-engineered with Zeiss, and as we can see here, the Zeiss moniker is positioned right there on the camera stack in the back. In the box we have a USB-A charger here. This is up to 90 watts to be able to charge up the 6500 milliampere battery that we have. Last but not least, a clear case to allow us to still enjoy our device even when it's inside of the case. It's definitely very nice, and I always appreciate having the ability of enjoying all of the work that they've done in here. And as you can see, one of the things obviously is how this actually changes depending on how the light is hitting it, and it really gives off that sunset look. We have the Vivo moniker sitting right here, and some angles it almost look like it's white, but again, as you can see here, the shimmering light effect here basically depending on how the light hits it. The camera stack on the back that we have in here is a little bit different than what we saw with the 60. We have a dual 50 megapixel camera stack in here, the primary and the telephoto. The 8 megapixel is still going to be the ultra wide, which is what we had before. And we of course still have the 50 megapixel front facing camera. On the left side, we have a couple of the antenna bands. On the bottom, we have a dual SIM tray configuration, obviously microphone, USB-C, bottom firing speaker. On the right side, we have the power button and the volume rocker. On the top, we have the IR blaster and of course the secondary speaker for the stereo speaker experience on this device. The display that we have in here is a 6.59 120 Hz refresh rate display. As you notice, the fingerprint sensor is positioned right there in the middle. And of course, it's a beautiful up to 120 Hz refresh rate, up to 5000 nits of brightness. And it has a resolution of 2750 by 1260 with the 459 ppi. Very nice, of course, up to HDR10 plus, obviously playback on this one. Android 16 out of the box, Google services in here. This is actually the global edition. It comes with the Google Play Store, as you can imagine. Now, when it comes down to the actual model, as I mentioned, this is the V70. There is no other version, so it's not a Pro or a standard. We've been going with a standard number now for some time. It is powered by the Snapdragon 7 Gen 4 mobile platform, of course. We have 512 gigs of internal storage, up to 12 gigabytes of RAM with the ability of leveraging an additional 12 gigabytes from the storage, which gives us up to 24. The storage compression here is up to 50 gigabytes, and one thing to mention is the 6500 milliampere battery that we have in here. Now, since we don't have wireless charging, the wire charging is the only way for us to be able to charge up the 6500 milliampere battery that we have in there. But it's nice to see that it comes with Origin OS 6, which is built on top of Android 16. Now, one of the nice things obviously is you can log into your account and of course set up the different configurations. We have Wi-Fi, Bluetooth configuration, all of that, notification status bar, customization, sound, display brightness, of course. As I mentioned, we have dark mode, light mode, 120 Hz refresh rate that we have in here, eye comfort protection options as well, display size as far as the ability of changing the size of the text as you have in there, and again you have up to UHD resolution and up to 120 Hz refresh rate, and I kept it on smart so that it actually has the ability of leveraging what the content that I'm using. One thing to mention, I have been using it on Verizon in the US, which is something that is not typical for me, but we'll talk about that. And the fact that it is supported in here means if you're thinking about importing it, you shouldn't have any problems there. For the most part here, we have home screen configurations, apps, lock screen, RAM. The battery gives us the ability of changing between boost mode and balanced, as well as battery saver. So boost mode will be more functional when you're playing games, as we're going to be definitely covering that as well. Ultra game mode is positioned in here. It does work automatically depending on the games that you're installing, and if it doesn't, you can go in there and customize it. Safety, digital well-being, of course, shortcuts and accessibility, system update. I did receive one update since I've had this unit. System management, users, accounts, Google, and of course about, which is roughly where we were at the end. One of the things I like about this phone as well is the fact that it has pretty much a flat experience on both sides with some rounded edges on the corners. So meaning when it sits in your hand, it actually doesn't dig into your hand. But it is a flat experience on the sides as well as on the display and on the back. So for the most part, when you're holding it, you're getting this experience, and the case pretty much extenuates that same experience. The fingerprint sensor is pretty well responsive, very good, very easy to customize. You can download anything that you want directly from the Google Play Store, and of course leverage all of the functional options that you get directly in here. All of the AI functionalities built in directly from Vivo are built into this device, and of course when it comes down to the camera, this is where we start getting a lot of the love from the X series coming into the V series, a little more this time with Zeiss as well. The primary sensor is a 50 megapixel camera. The telephoto lens is also a 50 megapixel camera. The ultrawide is an 8 megapixel camera, but I've been really, for the most part, living in the 73 millimeter, or essentially the telephoto lens. We have the ability of doing videos, of course. Let's go ahead and jump in here. Video maximum resolution, if you jump in here, it's 4K 60 frames per second on the main sensor as well as the telephoto, as they're the primary 50s. Now, of course, if we flip it to the front-facing camera, 4K and 60 frames per second is also the maximum resolution, primarily because it's the 50 megapixel, and this is you guys looking here. So for the most part, what you're getting here is pretty much a 4K 60 experience, with the exception of the ultra-wide, primarily because it's the 8 megapixel. The 7 Gen 4 is definitely being used to its full potential. So we're going to definitely check it out here. So we have micro movie mode. We have other options in here as well. Stage mode, food mode, different customization, as well as micro movie, which is their customized option to create short form video. And of course, video option, portrait mode, and night mode as well. So definitely a very nice configuration of cameras that we have in here. We're definitely going to jump real quick outside to do a quick test. We're going to start off with the front-facing camera on the brand new Vivo V70 here. 4K 60, obviously, as we talked about. That's going to be the best resolution, and it's going to be mirrored on the main and the telephoto lens. One of the things I wanted to show you guys as well is the compatibility with the bands here in the US on T-Mobile as well as on Verizon. So I'm showing you guys a couple of speed tests right now, leveraging just basically how well. Obviously T-Mobile, much better compatibility. On Verizon, I was getting about 40 megabits down, so it's not bad, but I wouldn't necessarily say full compatibility. In LA, really, I mean, on T-Mobile, very, very nice. Uploads and download speeds. Okay, now we're using the main sensor on the back. 4K 60 is going to be the best resolution, mirrored on the telephoto lens. But obviously at this distance, I'm probably not going to be using that the telephoto. It'll be too close up. This should be a good example what the audio and video should be if you're, let's say, you're recording something. Of course, your best performance is going to be on the main sensors on the back, as those are going to be the best tuned ones. This is where the Zeiss optics or the Zeiss calibration comes in and helps us leverage Vivo's experience and, of course, performance in cameras and everything like that. So my hope is that you guys enjoy this, as well as also show you guys what the Geekbench scores are going to be showing on this device in standard and in boost mode. The cameras on this device are absolutely giving X-series experience directly on a V-series, which is something that I say typically because I've always fallen in love with the X-series from Vivo, and of course the V-series always continues that at a more budget-friendly and more price-conscious experience. Now, let's talk about gaming. Let's go ahead and jump real quick into Call of Duty Mobile here. I'm going to lower the volume here. Sorry. And one of the big things, obviously, is the beautiful large display. You'll notice the bezels are nice and very thin. 120 hertz refresh rate is going to be the maximum resolution. We do have a game system here to be able to configure the system. You can jump in here, change the performance between boost, performance, balance, or battery saver, change the refresh rate, the brightness, Wi-Fi connectivity, and of course, data connection. There's a few other options in here, which also includes the ability of doing video recording, which gives us the ability of getting the best experience, and of course, the ability of sharing that. If we go into the settings, and of course under obviously here graphics, you'll notice that it actually does go to ultra, although with only the ability of going up to low. Most other devices that I've tested have been able to go at least to medium resolution. But I think overall in the high-paced game, when you're playing Call of Duty, realistically, I think the graphic, as you're going to start seeing in that example, look absolutely fantastic. They're very nice, very well experienced, and the high refresh rate makes it very seamless when you're playing. So you don't have to worry about things moving around. Even when I'm recording the video, it actually recorded it quite nicely. Now, the choice to go with the 7 Gen 4 one more time. The V60 had the 7 Gen 4 and the V70 is carrying the same processor. And I think that's primarily because we haven't really seen anything that kind of surpasses it in the mid-range. The 7 Gen 4 is Qualcomm's best processor. It's not an S. This is definitely more of the full version of the actual processor, which gives us the ability of getting the best performance. And with the exception of the 8 megapixel camera, we're getting 4K 60 across the board. The V60 I felt like was more focusing on the primary sensor and the main experience, where on this one is pretty much more kind of like well balanced. The V60 telephoto lens, this is where it starts shining and it looks absolutely fantastic. I love telephoto lenses because of their ability of giving us that natural bokeh effect, which means it essentially is subject isolation without necessarily having to turn on the software function. You're absolutely able to do so, but with the telephoto, you get that naturally because of the distance, and as it's punching in and getting into the subject, you're getting that better image. I was able to test it out, obviously, in all of the different lenses and different experiences that I'm sharing with you guys right now, and the cameras do not disappoint. And I think that's one of the things to leverage what Vivo does with their V-series. They're really giving you a great bang for the buck type of experience. They're bringing in some of those functionalities from the X-series, putting it into the V-series, and then giving you the ability of getting it at a much more affordable price. So I appreciate those little specific things that they do. And if you're looking for a device from Vivo and you're looking at the V series, the V60 and the V70 are very close, but I feel like the V70 takes it because of the Zeiss tuning, as we're getting that into the colors as well as the lenses that we have in here. That experience is definitely pushed to the next level there. And I'm hoping to see even more functionalities in the next series or the next iteration of the V series when it comes out. I want to say thank you very much to Vivo for allowing me to check out the V70 and test it out for a few weeks before sharing with you guys my experiences. It's a very nice, very powerful device, a large battery, beautiful large display, and of course with a few updates I think we'll be able to get even more functional options and more things built into this. The AI functionalities are very nice. Origin OS 6.0 is really good. I got a chance to see it at its launch and it was definitely a big upgrade over the previous generations, making it a little bit more, I would say, in tune with the rest of the OSs that we've seen on the market. This is TK. Thank you very much for the support. Like and subscribe as usual, and let me know what you guys think of the V70. Is it a good phone? Is it something that you guys may consider to upgrade to? Of course, we'll talk obviously in the comments below. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now.